After a 6-month tour of temporary duty in Southeast Asia, the final aircraft of the 306th Bomb Wing returned to McCoy Air Force Base, Florida, their home station. The 306th Bomb Wing and the 91st Bomb Wing, Glasgow Air Force Base, Montana, were based at Andersen Air Force Base, Guam, during their 6-month tour of combat duty. At Andersen, they were part of the 4133rd Bomb Wing, Provisional, whose mission was to conduct daily strikes against the Viet Cong in South Vietnam. The 306th Bomb Wing is commanded by Colonel Earl L. Johnson, who also served as commander of the 4133rd Bomb Wing, Provisional. He was met at McCoy by his wife and daughter. Also on hand to meet the returning crews were local civilian and military leaders. Last January, Colonel Johnson received a personal message from General William C. Westmoreland, Commander U.S. Forces, Vietnam, congratulating him for the outstanding B-52 bombing in support of the Army's Operation Cedar Falls. The message also relayed praise from Lieutenant General Jonathan O. Seaman II, Field Force Vietnam Commanding General. A KC-135 brought home the ground crews and other support personnel who were met by their families. However, before actual reunion could take place, each of the returning airmen went through customs, which was set up in a hangar. And then the spontaneous warmth of the long-awaited reunion. While in Southeast Asia, the combined wings launched more than 3,900 sorties, averaging over 650 sorties monthly. Bomber crews averaged 51 missions, and one crew, commanded by Major Jefferson R. Finch, flew 60 missions. The average mission was 12 hours. The net result for each crew was the accumulation of more than 600 hours of flying. Meanwhile, the final B-52 of the 91st Bomb Wing arrived at its home station, Glasgow Air Force Base, Montana. And here, too, the families waited with a warm reception. The 91st Bomb Wing is commanded by Colonel George Pfeiffer, Jr., who was met by local civilian and military officials. Here, too, the support personnel arrived bringing gifts and mementos of Far East duty. Before the actual reunions, there was the usual trip through customs, and then on to the family. While in Southeast Asia, the 91st and 306th Bomb Wings marked several milestones. The 1,000th B-52 mission was flown on March the 8th, one of more than 11,000 sorties since the start of the Southeast Asia action. 91,000 tons of bombs were delivered against targets in Vietnam during these 6 months. KC-135 tankers delivered the 1 billionth pound of fuel in support of B-52 and other tactical aircraft during one of 32,000 air refueling sorties. The efforts of the 306th Bomb Wing and the 91st Bomb Wing were praised by many military and civilian leaders.